The busier you are with life, the more you will feel the mental clarity that comes from a daily meditation practice. Hi everyone, my name is Isary and welcome back to my beauty and wellness channel. In today's vlog, I will be sharing insights on my personal meditation and wellness journey, how it has really helped me find stability in times of chaos, the steps I take from my setup, the different mental phases that you could potentially experience in this practice. I feel like meditation is a really great way for you to get started if you have been feeling overwhelmed, just down lately, or negative emotions. Meditation to me is a way to quiet your mind, to refine your inner peace, your stability, and just accept everything as it is, rather than one, ignoring it, or two, pushing it away. So let's dive deeper into those topics. If you are interested in more personal growth videos, I will share those links in the description as well as at the top. There's going to be different ways that people like to meditate, and this is just going to be my personal experience and my own personal tips on meditation so that you can apply it into your own lives. So on days that I'm feeling very overwhelmed and I need to feel more grounded, personally, I like to sit on the actual ground or floor because that just gives me a sense of reconnecting to the earth rather than all these thoughts and chatter. What happens when we have such a busy lifestyle is that we tend to overthink. Our brain does. Not us as a person, but your brain just naturally will tend to overthink and keep running. And then if you're not aware of your thoughts, then that's when it tends to sometimes be drawn to the negative side of life or negative observations. And meditation, in a sense, doesn't really refocus those negative thoughts to positive ones, but it is more about the relationship between your feelings and your thoughts and how you identify with those feelings. In a sense, I guess I can start off by kind of talking about my setup. I like to sit on a zafu, which is just like a pillow that has like buckwheat in it, and I find it's really supportive for me to like sit up straight and feel comfortable. I sit cross-legged, and then I tend to put my hands on my knees, close my eyes. I have my own space, so I tend to just drop down into my space and have my quiet time whenever I want to have my quiet time. This might be a little bit more challenging for you if you live with roommates or with family. So definitely finding some time, 10 to 15 minutes. You could even really do 3 minutes or 5 minutes. However, I find that it takes me a while to settle into my space. So I like to meditate for about 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes I do sit on a chair or a stool if I feel like my legs fall asleep quickly. I think that helps me be able to sit comfortably into the meditation. So whatever's more comfortable for you. I tend to do it in my living room, so I always take a moment to look out my window and kind of just look at the mountains and take in the actual earth or the actual community. Then the next step is I close my eyes, I tune into my breath, and just begin listening to sounds. So my meditation journey has actually just begun. I was introduced to it during my yoga teacher training before COVID, and slowly I've been incorporating it. I kind of fell into it because my job decided to fund a free year to 2 years of this meditation app called Headspace. The app has been helping me because it is such a good guide, and this is not sponsored, but it's kind of motivating for me that it does track if you are able to do like a daily streak. And I have been meditating for maybe about a little over 2 months. I started towards the end of last year. I've been doing it every single morning for about 10 minutes to 15 minutes. I believe I started at 5 just to keep it short and kind of get into that habit building rather than overwhelming myself with me trying to meditate for like long periods of time. It really helped for me to start my day meditating because rather than starting my day with my to-do list and my mind starting to think, I have to do this. These are my goals for today, and yada, yada, yada. I feel like it becomes a chatterbox. And the days that I am able to start my day with some quiet and creating space in my mind by just tuning into my body physically and the present moment, rather than living up here in my head, I have a much better day in terms of the relationship of my feelings and my awareness. The biggest change and thing that meditation has done for me is that it has helped me develop a sense of awareness of when I am feeling emotionally drained, emotionally stressed, triggered by someone or by an email or by triggered by instances in life that either upset me, make me angry, make me sad. And I can catch myself now, not all the time, but it's a practice that is being developed. I catch myself in the moment and I'm able to take a step back, to take a pause and observe that emotion and be like, oh my gosh, like this really made me upset or this really got me angry. I wonder why, and be curious and approach that from a sense of curiosity versus a sense of just condemning your emotions. Like when you feel anxiety from work or from life in general, or start to freak out when you overthink about life and your existence in the universe, in the world, it helps to just calm yourself down. Is a coping mechanism for you to self-heal and self-soothe through meditation. I find that it is helpful to burn some sort of scent, either sage or palo santo. I usually start with sage to just like cleanse the energy in the space, but mostly the scent to me of palo santo and sage is very grounding and something that I can focus on and helps me take deeper breaths when I'm closing my eyes and trying to focus on my breath. The way I like to meditate is once I have my zafu, I sit on the floor, cross my legs, hands to my knees, and then I turn my app on. The app helps with presenting guided meditations, so I find that helpful if you have trouble just sitting still in silence. Kind of ideas, the starting basis of the different phases you might experience as you try to meditate. For instance, say you are new to meditating and you are just sitting, closed eyes, and you feel this restlessness, like you do not want to sit still. One, meditation has been helping me really nail down my self-discipline, because I've been starting to practice and say to myself, for these next 15 minutes, these next 10 minutes, I am not moving. I'm not moving my head, I'm not moving my hands, I'm not moving my legs. I'm going to sit here still and just be in the moment, be present. And it's very challenging at first sometimes, depending on, I guess, how I wake up feeling. If I wake up feeling anxious, or if I wake up feeling tired or light or heavy, paying attention to that at the beginning of your meditation when you close your eyes, I think helps ground myself. First, take in my body, and I close my eyes and I do like a body scan, starting from the top and then all the way to the bottom with how am I feeling today? Do I have like a headache? Like, do you feel like a headache behind your eyes? Do you feel some tension in your neck? Maybe you slept weird and you feel kind of tight, maybe kind of sore from your workout, whether it's like your back or your lower back. Finding those spots that you feel tight or some sort of discomfort in, I think is important for the first part, self-awareness. So just being aware of what is hurting and how are you feeling emotionally, whether you have strong emotions of joy, of happiness, or even just heavy emotions of maybe sadness, frustration, anger, anxiety, all those emotions. And when you're observing your emotions, doing your best to not be judgmental is kind of like the secret sauce to meditation, because it's like awareness without labeling it as good or bad, but rather neutral. Disassociate directly with my emotions, so that if I wake up feeling anxious, it's like, oh my gosh, like I have this anxiety like inside me. Oh, that's anxiousness. That is anger. That is sadness. That is dread. Whatever the emotion is, naming it, and not being like, oh, I'm anxious. Oh, I'm sad. I'm dreading this. It's more like, no, that emotion is separate from who you are as a person. It is just something that your mind is creating itself, because it's like constantly running, and if you're not, mindful about controlling what thoughts are going through your head, then that's kind of how it leads to that emotional response of your body holding tension in certain areas. So that body scan, what it does for me is helps one identify, how I'm feeling. It's like a way to check in with yourself. And when you're checking in with yourself, you're basically drawing yourself into the present moment. And then what I like to do is listen to sounds in the morning. So sometimes, you're closing your eyes, just listen to every single sound and try to pinpoint it. And just, I find it very grounding, because it brings me to the present moment and makes me feel more like I'm a part of the community, observing the community through our ears, in a sense. So I hear like the water running, sometimes trickling. I hear my cats running around or playing. Then I hear honking on the street. Sometimes I hear a baby crying. Sometimes I hear the fridge noise or the AC and like light hummings, or sometimes you hear like people running in the hallways. And so all these sounds, just in a sense, help me be observant of the surrounding environment that I am in and the community. And right away, it's taking me out of my head and out of like me starting to think about, oh, what do I have to do today? Oh, what kind of content do I have to edit? Or task I have to do at my job? And live more present. Starting my morning like that is such a just nice way, like you feel it in your body. I notice that when I do pinpoint a certain area of my body that I'm holding tension, such as my chest, sometimes I feel like this tightening. Sometimes I feel a lot of tension in my back. Once I bring my awareness to that and I just scan it, and then I feel like, ooh, I really didn't sleep well, like on my side, or my back is hurting a little bit, like my lower back or my upper back. I find that by me being aware of that, the tension there begins to slowly release. And as I'm breathing, taking deep breaths in the morning, I like to breathe in through my nose and then out my mouth for the first breath in the morning, like super, super big, or as big as you can, fill up your lungs and then just exhale, release any thoughts, release everything. And then that's when I drop into my practice. Once I start that first breath, the rest of the time, it's kind of like my brain kind of flows from being present with like these sounds in my environment to checking into my body to tuning in with just my breath. And what do I mean by tuning in to just my breath? Once you close your eyes and you've taken in your check-in, you've done a quick little check-in, you've done a auto check-in, it's time to just listen to your breath. And it helps me personally to start counting them from 1 to 10 so that I'm a little more focused, and without even trying to control your breath, you kind of start to breathe a little bit deeper sometimes. We start to enter this relaxed state of mind and state of self and physical being that kind of carries on to the rest of your day. Even though I'm walking you through these different phases and ways that I like to meditate, sort of like in a guided meditation sort of sense, I do want to emphasize that there is no like big goal of meditation. Like if you try too hard, then it kind of defeats the purpose because you're like thinking of thinking or stressing yourself out. And it kind of just, that's why I mentioned that a longer period of time helps my body just get rid of that intense focus and begin to actually relax. So if you do have trouble meditating, maybe attempt doing a little bit longer if you really want to feel like you're sinking into the practice. And if you're having trouble, another way that might help you settle into your meditation is before you meditate, maybe writing down whatever is on your mind. If you feel like you have a lot going on internally, writing it down in your journal and getting those thoughts just out and on paper will help you, one, process them, but also it'll get them out of your head so they're not constantly playing on a loop and you're able to just put it out there, put it on hold. It's like a way that you can, it's like more tangible so you won't forget it, and just put it on hold and just tune into yourself first. Sometimes you will find yourself, trying to control your breath and take deep breaths, and that's definitely not the purpose of meditation, though you can do a breathing like Kundalini exercise, which is like a certain time of breath work that I'm not an expert in, but I have heard about it in yoga. Once I have done my meditation for 15 minutes, the way that I like to get out of my meditation is to ease into it by slowly opening my eyes, like very gently, and almost like having a light focus where you don't fully open your eyes right away, but a light focus. And you kind of stay in the space. Don't move yet until you fully open your eyes. Then have a moment to just appreciate and once again, be aware of what changed. How do you feel now? And slowly moving into your day by physically slowly moving. And I find that on days that I'm able to transition from my meditation to my daily life in such a smooth manner that I'm just a lot more calmer and a lot more grounded, and internally it's like you find that peace, that inner peace. If you live in an apartment where you cannot burn any sage or palo santo, another option is using essential oils. So just putting a couple of drops on your wrists or mixing it with some, if you have a diffuser, which I also do, where you pour water in it, you can pour a couple of drops of your essential oil there and then have that running while you do your meditation. I've also heard of some apps where there is music in the background. So if that helps you to start off your meditation with some music that is going to set the mood and just help you sink deeper into your practice, by all means, you also have that option of trying that out. Usually some sort of classic music to just nature sounds. I find it more grounding, and I find that I'm able to feel more present by actually being a part of the community and not adding another audio to my life. Personally, I like to practice it without any music, just silence. And it's interesting because you begin to learn how to be comfortable with just being by yourself, with yourself. I feel like meditation is just really healing for not just your mental health, but also who you are as a person. Like being alone and learning to love yourself through all the ups and downs, all the crazy, just complex emotions that we all experience as human beings. So like anxiety, for instance, which is like a big one that I felt is what drew me to meditation because of my workload and just how I was feeling working long hours at a computer. I started to feel just overwhelmed and panicky. I would catch my brain starting to have that negative self-talk. And so to combat that, starting meditations in the mornings before my workday starts, before the whole reading all my emails and catching up or just getting into my to-do list, has been such a game changer in that it starts my day with a calm mind, and I'm able to catch myself when I'm feeling anxious in the moment. Throughout my workday, I catch myself now, and I really like that. what was I gonna say? I wanted to talk about God, what I wanted to talk about. When I catch myself having a negative emotion or negative reaction where I am super upset at something, I've caught myself, I noticed a few times, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it's becoming a stronger habit and skill of mine that I'm developing. And I know that awareness is through meditation. And I sometimes have to step away and close my eyes. And it's almost like within a few seconds that my body drops back into how it feels when you meditate towards the end of your meditation. So it's, in a sense, training my brain to go back to that inner peace that I found in the morning and go back to that inner calm, dropping back into my body and just stopping my brain with all these ridiculous thoughts that it's having, that it's negative and anxious driven and just overwhelming, being like, wait, none of that is real. What is real is here, everything that's tangible. Your breathing, like reminding myself that I am in a safe space, that I'm alive and that nothing is hurting me. Your mind, because sometimes we're running with so many negative emotions that it is hurting you. You are hurting yourself in a sense, and this could affect your overall health, your physical well-being and your mental well-being. Catching that and being able to return to a place of stability and balance and realignment of yourself is so empowering. It's so empowering. Like, I love it, and I feel like it's such a game changer. It's not a way of praying or anything like that, though you can always add prayer at the end or mix it into your practice. It's more of calming your mind and just putting a pause to your thoughts so that you can feel your breathing and tune back into what is real, which is everything tangible here in the earth and yourself. I hope that makes sense and that the way I'm explaining this process is helpful to you who are interested in meditating. I think that is all I had for this video. If you found it helpful, please consider liking and subscribing to help me reach my first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And if you have any questions or any tips that you yourself find helpful in your meditation practice, please link it below. I would love to learn more about different ways to cope with anxiety. Mental health is such a big topic for me because I feel like I personally experienced my lowest points during COVID, and I just feel like mental health plays such a big and important role in everyone's health, and people don't really tie it to how it affects your physical well-being, your ability to succeed in life, your relationships, your finances, the way you see the world. And the way you see the world is what you will get out of it. So continuing to improve that view and changing that perspective and your mindset, I think, is very important and a big part of my YouTube vlogs. So if you're interested in more topics like this, you can check out the links in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all at my next video. Thank you. Bye. Let's give a little moment for my nails. Today's makeup is inspired by this girl that I follow on Instagram. So if you're interested in like how I created this makeup look, you can check out my social links. I will be posting this on my TikTok. I've been trying to explore more experimental and creative makeup looks as well as nails. So if you're interested in that sort of creative outlet, check out my socials and don't forget to follow for more.